I teased football roundtable, but we're going to do that in a second because we've got our new defensive backs coach, Doug Belk, sitting down with us. Coach, it's been great to get to know the new assistants, particularly on the defensive side. We'll talk to Coach Jones here, too, on the offensive side later on in the show, but a whole new defensive staff for the most part. What brought you to USC? All you guys were so sort of accomplished at your other places and have decided to team up here at USC. What was the difference maker for you?
I think it was just overall tradition. You know, I had a couple good friends who played here, and Kerry Colbert, Kenneth Udeze, me and Kyle Moore, who played here, played high school football together. So I feel like I had heard a lot about USC, competed against USC before. Ultimately, it was Coach Riley, his vision for the program and wanting to start something new, and had a great opportunity to have a good impact.
Sean, does Kenneth say nice things about you when he talks to his friend Coach Belk?
I hope so.
Coach. Old teammate? I don't know.
You heard him before?
Was BKU's habits better than yours? And
oh, yeah. I mean, Kenneth Udeze is a legendary worker. You look at this bod, look at his bod. You know who's working out hard. Coach, take us through spring ball. How's it going for your group? You just, this first time going through here, and you're coming to a close on Saturday. How was spring ball for you guys?
Man, it's been awesome. Really more about getting to know the guys, having the opportunity to get back on the field, and we got here and everything was so fast-paced, having a chance to slow down a little bit, get to know the players, implement a new scheme, and ultimately get to know the staff as well. So it's been really, really good for us so far, and we're winding down, and we're excited about where we're at right now.
Coach, you were a coordinator before you came here. How does your perspective as a position coach change now that you have coordinating experience under your belt?
Yeah, I get this question a lot, and it's been pretty cool being here. I think me and Coach Lynn see football the same way. And I think the more people that you have that see the big picture, and oftentimes I feel like position coaches are selfish in having the perspective of, in every scheme or every front or every coverage, somebody has something dirty about their job that they have to do. And so sometimes we have to put the DBs on an island to really be able to stop the run, or when we're trying to maximize coverage, understanding the weaknesses and the strengths of the coverages in the fronts. I think it gives me a big picture perspective, but ultimately I think it helps coach our players better. So we're not just teaching position-specific things, trying to increase their football IQ continuously and give them a bigger perspective of football.
You're listening to defensive backs coach Doug Belk on Trojans Live. Coach, you're from that Nick Sabin tree. You had some time under him. That's obviously a pretty good tree to be in. What did you learn during your time with a true defensive mastermind?
Just being around those guys, I think it was more just the daily disciplines and the consistency. And always striving for excellence. And I think that's something that, I've taken during my career and my travels since being there and try to implement some of those things. Maybe not always scheme or maybe not always, all the same resources, but definitely just the day-to-day habits and the consistency and performance that we strive to all be great. And ultimately it's about, investing in players and winning, and that's the ultimate goal.
Coach, I've let it be no secret on this show that I may have not been the biggest spring ball fan as a player. It was kind of a struggle for me to get it fired up in spring. But this being, the first season you guys are doing it, coming together, it's a much different animal than if you had been here for a long time and you guys know your guys, maybe just working the young guys. What are you looking for in spring ball that can kind of be that launch pad for fall football?
Yeah, I think it's always hard, as a player to really be extremely motivated at times for spring football because you're not working towards a goal. Yep. And I think, with new staff, there's been a lot of excitement. So our guys are really eager to learn, but ultimately just the fundamentals, right? How we approach blocks. Are we in the right leverages? Are we competing at a high level every day? And it's kind of like an individual competition, within yourself. And I tell our guys all the time, talk about intrinsic motivation and being self-starters and finding things each and every day, position specific and then individually that we can improve on. And I think those guys have done a really good job of embracing the things that we've been challenging them on. And the accountability factor is a big thing for us in the secondary right now and playing with a high level of discipline because those things get exposed very quickly if you don't. Yeah. And game time, and they may often be overlooked, but some of those things we're focusing on a little bit more than scheme, than just scheme, I would say. It's just that the way that we approach it and the mindset that we have and, trying to change the way that we think, develop a mindset and develop competition within position.
Intrinsic motivation. I could have used it. I mean, Ed Ogeron got some intrinsic motivation going at me, but I could have used a little bit more of that.
Jordan asked you about the Alabama chapter, but I want to double down on that because could go down as one of the best staffs ever assembled in football. That 2016 staff with neither almost like a half dozen current head coaches between Dan Lanning, you got Kirby Smart, Mario Cristobal, Lane Kiffin, who we obviously know well. Question, though, is like, what did you take from that experience in terms of all those guys maybe falling in line when they all had big aspirations? And it feels like that's been a theme with some of the assistants that we've talked to, is a lot of you guys had coordinating experience or had, Coach Sean Nua, coming from the previous staff, or guys that have head coaching aspirations. What did you take from when you were a GA that 2016 year that maybe you're applying on the day-to-day now in 2024?
Yeah, I think it's all perspective. Everybody, when you're around greatness and you're around people that strive to be great, you take a little bit of something from everybody and develop your own style, and I feel like I've been able to do that. And here, our roles have all changed, and it's really about, embracing your role and being the best that you could be, each and every day, and whatever vision that Coach Riley has or Coach Lynn has, and I'm just trying to execute that and develop our players and put those guys in the best position to be successful, on and off the field. And I think a lot of the disciplines and a lot of the lessons that you learn in football, they carry over. And so that's really what I'm trying to do with our guys right now.
A lot of the offseason conversation has been about preparing for the Big Ten, and so you sort of look at the line of scrimmage, and that that's obviously going to be a major emphasis against some of these opponents. How do you see it affecting the DB room and DB play? Is that different in that league than maybe the league we're coming from?
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, a different style of football consistently, and then you're playing different climates than you're used to. So you have to be comfortable in some of those situations, but ultimately, changing some of the body types, changing, some of the things that we have to execute, because DBs are going to have to tackle and you're going to have to cover. So we're looking for well-rounded guys with football IQ who love the game and that are in attack mode, because they're going to put you in those spaces, and you have to be able to execute in tough situations. And no matter what the climate is or no matter what team you play, the mindset has to be the same. So we want to develop that as well as change the body types and the mentality.
Coach, real quickly, any names we need to maybe look out for on Saturday, or you've liked during spring ball?
Man, it's a lot of them. We added some veteran presence. Achille, he's the type of guy that makes a coach better, right? And he's very intelligent. He's got a lot of playing experience. I've been excited about the way that he approaches the game. He's taken a big leadership role within the unit already. Kamari came over from UCLA. I think he's a really special player that everybody's going to be really excited about. Just when you look at some of the things that he's already done, but he's never in a panic position. He knows the scheme inside out. He's been around Coach Lynn already, so he's been a huge addition to the room. Then you look at the other veteran guys that have been here. Shaw has played a lot of football, and then trying to develop some of the corners. And then some of the young guys, have really stood out as well and are starting to come around. Try not to crown any of those guys too early.
No name dropping for them.
Yeah, they've done a good job, and seeing guys like Prophet, continue to develop and had a good showing in the bowl game, as well as Jacoby Covington has done some good things. And then my expectation is really high. My expectation is really high for Jalen Smith as well. He's been nicked up a little bit, but he's done a really good job. He's been one of the guys who made a really, really big jump in the winter as far as technique, fundamentals, and then obviously he's gained some weight and gotten a lot stronger. Looks really good right now as well, and he's a guy that has already played all 5 positions in the secondary, and so he gives us the versatility piece that goes along with some veteran presence as well. And then Beavers is just, he's a hard hat guy. He comes to work every day, very consistent, does a lot of things well, brings a different level of physicality and toughness. And I haven't had a chance to coach Zion yet, but I'm really excited, for him to get back and have an opportunity to get out there and prepare and play. And he's locked in at all times, loves ball, very consistent. And then see a guy like Christian, his development, and he's coming off of, a shoulder surgery, so he's not full speed. Well, technically not supposed to be full speed. It's hard to slow him down. He loves football, loves to compete. And so all of these guys have done a really good job. And then you throw, D. Nick in the mix and John Humphrey in the mix, and we've created some competition by position. And I'm excited about some of those guys and the young guys that are early enrollees, Marquise and Sellis and Boatwright, and all of those guys have done a really good job and had some bright moments so far.
All right. Well, you can see the whole crew on Saturday at the USC football spring game. That's going to kick off at noon. We will go on at 11 a.m. So catch us on YouTube if you're either your second screen at the game or if you're at home watching it on TV. But be sure to get to the Coliseum and pack the place on Saturday. When you've got good beer and good vibes, it's all bueno. Stone Buenaveza Salt and Lime Lager is Baja inspired and imported from San Diego. Located near you at fine.stonebrewing.com. Thank you to Coach Belk. Back with more Trojans Live next.